Hey there, it's Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and the project I'm sharing today is a geometric monochromatic masculine birthday card using nothing but circles and shades of blue. So I started out with this great background die from Elizabeth Craft Designs called the Circle Background, and then I have 5 shades of solid cardstock in various shades of blue, and then I had maybe 4 or 5 different scraps of pattern paper in various shades of blue as well. And to turn them all into stickers, I am using this Elizabeth Craft Designs adhesive sheets. So I'm going to be sticking this onto the back of all of my pieces of paper. And so 4 of those colors of solid cardstock I cut down into 4 by 5 1/4, which is the size of the die, and run that through my machine to get sort of the whole thing cut out. And then I also take those pattern paper bits and I kind of stick them around in various spots on the die and run those through in order to get sort of different areas with different patterns that would fit back into the die. So there you can see how the die fits directly on top of those 4 by 5 1/4 inch pieces. And there's kind of my random placement of the scraps on the right. Now with this teal one, I've already run it through and I've punched out all the circles and various other pieces out of the die, and I'm using that as the frame, and I'm going to adhere that down to that A2 sized piece of navy cardstock. And so that just becomes like kind of the framework for the background. And here I am kind of randomly putting pattern bits onto the die, and then you can see on the left I have started feeding some of the pieces back in, like inlaying them back into that die framework in order to create my background. And the nice thing about the adhesive sheets is that because these are all adhesive backed, it was really easy once I had the placement done to just adhere them all down and get it all put firmly in place once I had decided on the layout. Now with the layout, I really was going for a nice balance of color and pattern across the entire background. I did want some of that navy to show through, so in some areas I used smaller circles inside larger openings so it would have a navy frame, and some of them I just left empty. And the easy way to do this was how I'm doing it right here, which is leave the die the die cut in the die, and then just poke out the pieces that I wanted to fill with whatever color I was working with. And sometimes I had to change them and switch them up, but it wasn't too hard to kind of find the correct piece to fit into the spaces. And even though it looks fairly complicated and you do wind up with a lot of extra circles, it really didn't take all that long to feed them all back in and create this funky pattern and make a really lively looking card. So that was probably the best part of this. It was kind of fun. Now, keeping with my circle theme, I decided to use the Simon Says Stamp Happy Birthday Circle die, and I cut that out of white cardstock to help it stand out from the background. And then I cut a smaller white circle using a circle die to go in the center. And as a greeting on top of that circle, I'm going to be using this little XOXOX from the Elizabeth Craft Designs General Sentiment stamp set, which is one of my favorite sentiment stamp sets lately. And this was a brand new stamp. I had never used it before, so I'm stamping it off on some scratch paper. But I think I needed to season it a little bit better because when it's stamped, it didn't stamp perfectly. So I do take my distress marker in Chip Sapphire and clean up that stamped image just a little bit. Just kind of crisp it up in some of the areas where I didn't stamp so well. And you really can't tell the difference, which is nice. And so to adhere these pieces down, if I had thought about it, I would have put some of the adhesive sheet on the back of the white to turn those into stickers too. But of course I didn't think of that. So I wound up using my Martha Stewart glue pen on the Happy Birthday circle, and then just some double stick tape on the back of that center circle to get it all adhered down. And that is essentially the design. I do want take this panel and adhere it down to an A2 sized top folding white cardstock card base to complete the project. But the idea here was to Keep with a masculine color theme of all blues. I think most men like blue, and blue is my husband's favorite color. And then go with very simple geometric shapes, circles, to keep it very simple and masculine as well. This is the no frills card, although it does look like it takes a lot of time because of that kind of fancy background. But in reality, it really wasn't tough, and it was pretty easy to put together. Probably the toughest part was kind of deciding on the placement of the various blues in that background, but otherwise it was really easy to put together and pretty fun. And I think it turned out pretty nice. So hopefully I've given you a little inspiration today on a way to use like a monochromatic theme or all the same shape in order to create a fun masculine birthday card. As always, there is a supply list link below in the video description and on my blog. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, and I'd be even happier if you would subscribe to my channel. And here are 2 more masculine birthday card videos I've done. On the left is a black on black birthday card, and on the right is another birthday card using various geometric shapes. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and have a great day.